So if you're using powerful AI like Claude, just to ask, write me an email or summarize this article, that's fine. But really think about it this way. It's like you have this incredibly powerful supercomputer, maybe something like NASA would use, right? And you're basically just using it to, I don't know, balance your checkbook. You're leaving almost all of its real power completely untapped. So today, our deep dive is all about advanced Claude AI prompt engineering. We're going way beyond that basic chat box interaction. We're going to show you how to stop thinking of Claude as just a general assistant and start turning it into, well, a specialized employee, like a super smart team member that's permanently trained for your specific business needs or your most complex workflows.
Exactly. And the real secret here, the thing most people miss, isn't some, magic keyword. It's actually about designing the system underneath. It's about understanding how to give the AI a kind of long-term memory, operational rules that actually stick around. This deep dive is really your fast track to getting a huge advantage. It can totally transform the quality, the speed, the relevance of what the AI gives you to the point where it feels less like using a tool and more like you've actually outsourced some critical thinking.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that. Because
Sure.
before we get into the really technical setup, the code that kind of installs these AI employees, we need to get the basics right. We need a sort of shared language for instructing any AI. I mean, our sources really emphasize that even those complex prompt system will just fall flat if the fundamentals aren't rock solid.
Yeah, think of it like onboarding a new team member, right? If
Yeah.
you just give them a really vague job description and send them off, you're going to get fuzzy, probably unhelpful results. You have to be crystal clear about the job parameters, and that clarity, well, it really boils down to 5 essential components.
Okay, first one, role. And you're saying don't be shy here. It's not just be a writer. It's more like you are a senior copywriter specializing in persuasive B2B tech briefs, or, like the example we'll get to, director of content and data strategy.
Precisely. The role sets the expertise, the tone, the knowledge base it draws from. It's fundamental.
Then number 2 is audience. Why is that so critical?
Because it dictates everything about the style and complexity. I mean, are you writing for your CEO? They probably need high-level bullets. Or are you explaining something complex to a total beginner customer? That's a completely different approach. If you don't define the audience, the AI just defaults to this bland, generic voice that honestly satisfies no one.
Right, makes sense. Pillar 3 is task. And this is where the hyper-specificity comes in.
Yes, exactly. We need to move past the vague stuff like write an ad.
To something really actionable, like write 3 Facebook ads using these specific customer pain points, each headline under 10 words, body copy under 100 words.
That level of detail. The AI just can't handle ambiguity well. It needs clear instructions.
Okay. Fourth component.
Context, basically, what background information does the AI need to actually do the task? This could be product details, maybe customer profiles, competitor analysis, or, like we'll see in the advanced cases, pointing it to specific data files it needs to read. You have to provide the necessary world knowledge.
Got it. And finally, number 5, format.
Yeah, don't just assume it knows how you want the output.
Yeah.
If you want a markdown table, you need to say, output as a markdown table. If you need a numbered list of steps, specify output as numbered bullet points. Be explicit.
So role, audience, task, context, and format. If you consistently nail those 5 things.
You're already way ahead of probably 90% of people using these tools. It makes a huge difference.
Okay, so those 5 pillars cover the what and the how of giving instructions. But now the really interesting part, the where. Where do we actually put these detailed, specialized instructions so Claude remembers them every single time? This is that long-term memory idea, right?
Right. And this is where things get maybe sound a bit technical, but it's actually surprisingly straightforward to set up. These really advanced workflows we're about to discuss, they need a specific technical foundation just to work at all.
And there are 2 key things you absolutely need, according to the sources. First, you have to be using the Claude desktop app on your computer. Apparently, these powerful system prompt features just don't work reliably, or maybe at all, on the regular website version.
That's the first crucial piece. And the second is you need to create a new project within that desktop app.
Okay, so a project is like a dedicated workspace.
Exactly. Think of it as the dedicated office or container for your specialized AI employee. So if you're building that content strategist, you might name the project content strategist or, Athena 2.0, like in our example. But the magic part, the bit that really gives it that long-term memory and makes it feel trained, is the system prompt. Ah, okay. So this is the big shift. All that detailed code, the massive block of instructions and rules we'll look at. You're not pasting that into the normal chat box where you type everyday questions.
Oh, definitely not. You paste that entire block of code into the project's settings. There's a specific, usually quite large, text box labeled system prompt, or maybe just instructions. That's where it goes.
And putting it there makes it permanent for that project.
Yes. The system prompt basically acts like the AI's core programming or its constitution for that specific project.
Yeah.
Because of where it's placed, every instruction inside it gets the highest priority. Claude automatically refers back to it every single time you start a new conversation within that project. It's the difference between constantly reminding a freelancer about the job specs versus giving a full-time employee a detailed handbook they have to follow. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Let's see this in action then. Let's look at the first installed employee, this concept called Athena 2.0. The goal here is to build a data-driven business brain, right? Turning Claude into an expert that basically knows everything about your company because it's linked to your documents and goals.
Right. So we install Athena using a very specific system prompt. Her role is defined as Director of Content and Data Strategy for the sustainable fashion brand Zan Style. But look closely at the core directive in the prompt. Your job is to make decisions using data, not guesses. Always follow the brand style and focus on business results. That immediately tells it. Data first, opinion second. Business outcomes matter most.
And the workflow part of the prompt seems really structured. It looks like Athena has to follow 7 specific steps before it even gives an answer.
Yes, mandatory steps. This isn't just a suggestion in the prompt. It uses internal tags and structure to force a specific step-by-step reasoning process. It has to follow them.
What are some of those steps?
Well, it starts with things like analyze request and find unclear points. But then, crucially, step 3 forces it. If there are unclear points in your request, it must ask for clarification. Just 1 or 2 short, specific questions to make sure it understands before it dives in.
Okay, hold on. If I'm trying to automate things, ask me questions, doesn't that slow things down? I kind of want the answer now.
That's a really common reaction, but it's thinking about speed over accuracy. This step is the difference between basic automation and genuine competence. Think about it. Asking 1 quick clarifying question up front prevents the AI from spending time generating a long, detailed response based on a completely wrong assumption. It avoids that garbage in, garbage out problem. By forcing clarification, you guarantee the final output is actually relevant, which saves you potentially hours of rework later.
Okay, yeah, see the logic there. Better to clarify than redo. So once it understands, it finds the documents it needs, starts the work. But then there's a quality check.
Absolutely critical. Step 6 forces the AI to check your work against something called the self-correction checklist that's also defined in the system prompt. And that checklist is where you define what good looks like. Things like, does the writing style match the brand guide? Is every conclusion supported by data from a file? Are the suggestions specific and actionable? This makes the AI pause and evaluate its own output before showing it to you. It dramatically boosts the reliability.
Wow, okay. And there's one more piece to Athena, something about being proactive.
Yeah, the proactive analysis protocol. This part of the instruction tells Athena that, say, once a week, it has to automatically scan the relevant data files. Find something interesting, unusual, or maybe problematic that you didn't ask about, and report it.
So it's designed to surface insights you might have missed.
Exactly. It's programmed to be curious about the data. That's moving towards real specialized intelligence, not just reacting to commands.
All right, super powerful. Let's pivot to the second use case. This one seems more focused on personal productivity and maybe even mood. Zenith, the personal performance coach.
Yeah, Zenith is fascinating. It applies principles from behavioral science directly to the AI's operation. We know, like, real productivity isn't always about just pushing harder. Sometimes the smart move is to ease off or switch to a different kind of task. So Zenith acts as a combination of an executive assistant and a personal performance coach. And it starts every single morning by asking you, good morning, what is your energy level today from 1 to 10?
And based on your answer, it changes what it suggests.
Precisely. That's the core logic. If you say your energy is low, maybe a 1 to 3 Zenith programming tells it to shift gears. It'll suggest simple, low-effort tasks, things like clearing out your inbox, maybe organizing some files. And it does it with a gentle tone, using warmer, softer emojis like a little plant sprout or a coffee cup or a heart CO. It's trying to conserve your mental energy.
Okay, and if you're feeling high energy, like an 8 to 10,
then the prompt directs it to do the opposite. It suggests diving into complex, creative work that needs focus and brain power. And the tone shifts, too, using more energetic, powerful emojis like a rocket or firefo or sparkles you. It's designed to match the cognitive load to your current capacity.
That's quite clever. Is there a safety mechanism built in? What if you're just completely overloaded?
Yes, absolutely essential. There is a specific stress protocol built in. If you type words like overwhelmed, swamped, stressed, or similar, Zenith's instructions mandate that it must immediately stop whatever else it was doing. It first offers just a brief, comforting acknowledgement. Then its only goal is to help you identify one single, very small, manageable thing you can do next. It's hard-coded to break that feeling of panic and just help you regain a tiny bit of control.
And it connects to other tools, too. I saw something about Google Calendar.
Yeah, that's a great example of using a hard-coded constraint for well-being. Zenith can be configured to access your Google Calendar. And a non-negotiable rule programmed into its system prompt is that it must always ensure there's at least 15 minutes of break time scheduled between any back-to-back meetings it helps arrange.
That's brilliant. A small rule, programmed once, that prevents that constant meeting burnout forever.
Exactly, little systemic fixes.
Okay, so we've seen Athena for deep business data and Zenith for personal focus and energy management. Let's quickly touch on the other three examples mentioned in the sources, just to give people a sense of the sheer range of specialized employees you could build with this approach.
Sure. First up was Nexus, positioned as a data analyst specifically for, say, community management contexts. Think analyzing chat logs from a Discord server or comments on a forum, like for a Guitar Pro Hub example.
And its key role is about data integrity, right?
Yeah, right.
To ensure trustworthiness, any advice or conclusion Nexus offers must be based on evidence it finds in at least two different data files or sources. This stops it from overreacting to, like, one angry comment. It forces it to look for patterns.
And it does more than just count comments.
Yeah, it can do sentiment analysis, calculate the percentage of positive, negative, neutral comments in text files. But more importantly, it's programmed to dig deeper, to look for the deepest reason behind issues. So it might correlate, say, the launch of a difficult new course with a sudden increase in members leaving the community, suggesting the course difficulty might be the real problem.
Okay, interesting. Then there was Creator, the web app developer. This one sounds ambitious.
It's focused on using Claude's artifacts feature to build small, interactive tools directly in the chat. Things like quizzes, calculators, simple dashboards.
Artifacts. That's the thing where Claude actually generates working code, like a mini app, right there in the conversation window.
Exactly. So you get a functional tool instantly, potentially without you needing to write any code yourself. And the example was an opportunity cost calculator. What was the advanced part there?
The optimization built into its system prompt. Creator was instructed to always create two versions of the lead capture button for the calculator. Maybe one button says download detailed analysis and the other says get time-saving tips. And then it has to randomly show one version or the other to different users. It essentially becomes an AI programmer that also includes built-in A/B testing to constantly optimize itself for better results, like lead generation. Plus, it had instructions about ensuring accessibility in the code it generates.
Wow, okay. An AI dev and tester rolled into one, and the last one was synthesizer. What's its specialty?
Synthesizer is the strategic information specialist. It's designed for high-level, high-stakes preparation work. The example was generating a crucial Q4 product strategy report.
And its main job involves handling lots of information.
Massive amounts. Its task is to read and analyze all relevant documents from potentially multiple disparate sources. Imagine pointing it to 3 different Google Drive folders, one with engineering notes, one with marketing campaign results, and one with customer support ticket summaries.
How does it decide what's important out of all that?
That's its core strategic filter. The system prompt instructs Synthesizer to only prioritize and highlight ideas, future requests, or problems if they are mentioned independently in at least 2 out of the 3 specified data sources. This automatically surfaces recurring themes and points of cross-departmental agreement, filtering out isolated comments or niche requests. It finds the consensus.
And it doesn't just stop at the report, right? It automates the next steps.
Yes, that's the final piece of its workflow. Based on the strategic priorities identified in its report, Synthesizer is programmed to automatically create corresponding tasks in a project management tool like Notion, and it even assigns those tasks to the correct team leads. Maybe the UX lead gets the research tasks, the engineering lead gets the technical implementation tasks, product marketing gets the go-to-market tasks. It connects the analysis directly to action.
Okay, these examples, Athena, Zenith, Nexus, Creator, Synthesizer, They really paint a picture of what's possible. It's way beyond just asking simple questions.
Absolutely. So before we wrap this up, maybe we should touch on the overall philosophy here and also some common mistakes people make when trying this.
Good idea. So key tips first. What's the mindset shift?
I think the absolute number one thing is start thinking of the AI as a system, not just a discrete tool you use occasionally. You're actually designing an operational workflow, a pipeline.
Right. And related to that, don't try to build one AI that does everything. That Swiss Army knife approach usually fails. Instead, create many different highly specialized employees or projects, Athena for data, Zenith for focus, Nexus for community insights. Each one should have a laser-sharp focus.
And crucially, this isn't a one-and-done setup. You have to iterate. Test your prompts, see what results you get, measure them against your goals, and then tweak and refine the system prompt until it's working perfectly for your specific needs. It's a continuous improvement loop.
Okay, so build systems, specialize, iterate. What about the common pitfalls? Where do people usually go wrong with these advanced prompts?
Well, the first one, maybe ironically, is still giving unclear instructions, even within a long, complex prompt. You can have thousands of words in that system prompt. But if key parts lack specificity, like if you don't clearly define the target aesthetic for that fashion brand, or the precise goal of synthesizer's report, the whole thing can still underperform or fail its main objective. Clarity remains king.
Makes sense.
Mm.
What else?
Second big mistake, not telling the AI what not to do. Constraints are just as vital as positive commands. You need to proactively add negative rules. Things like, do not use tired marketing jargon like world-class solution or game-changing, or avoid using passive voice in your summaries. These boundaries are essential for shaping the output quality and style.
Right, defining the don'ts is as important as the do's. And the third mistake.
Forgetting to tell what to do when it encounters errors. A really robust system, like a competent employee, needs clear instructions for handling failure. Remember Athena 2.0's rule. If you cannot find a file, tell me right away and ask for the correct path. Do not continue by yourself. You have to build in that kind of explicit error handling. Otherwise, the system might just try to guess or hallucinate its way through a problem, leading to bad outputs.
Okay, unclear instructions, forgetting negative constraints, and no error handling plan. Got it. So pulling this all together, what's the big picture here? What have we really learned today?
I think the core realization is that the true power of these advanced AIs isn't just locked inside the model's raw intelligence. It's unlocked by how effectively you design the instructions. You've essentially learned the secret that separates basic users from, well, AI architects. You're moving from just using the AI to actively designing and training your own bespoke digital team.
Yeah, you become the designer of the system.
Exactly. And the big takeaway is systemic thinking. By investing, say, a few focused hours today to build one of these custom project-based systems, installing an Athena or a Zenith using the system prompt, you're setting up an automated engine. It's a self-correcting machine that can potentially save you hundreds of hours down the line. It frees up your valuable time and mental energy for the truly high-level stuff. Strategic thinking, complex human interactions, genuine creativity.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, to really mull over. We've explored how to build one of these highly capable AI employees today. Now, really consider the immense competitive advantage you could gain when you have an entire team of these specialists. Imagine Athena managing your business data, Zenith optimizing your daily focus, Nexus constantly analyzing your customer feedback, all working tirelessly 24/7, following your exact rules. This isn't just some neat tech trick. It represents a fundamentally new layer of operational capability, a new way to work.
It's automated competence.
So the challenge is, pick one critical workflow in your job or business. Get the Claude desktop app if you haven't already, and start designing and building your very first AI executive today. See what happens.